Judge, this is the case of enough is enough.
Based on what I've seen in their paperwork, we are in for a lot of anger, derision, upset, and fussing. Let's see if I can get down to matters.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lynn Toler presiding.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Dwight Hall versus Roxy Hall. The two of you have been together 5 years, married for 2. You do not want to be married anymore. Mr. Hall, you are seeking $1,760 from your wife as you go for lost wages. We will discuss that momentarily, but before we do, Mr. Hall, I'm going to start with you. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your marriage and why we're here today?
Well, Roxy proposed to me, and now I'm proposing divorce.
Well, that was clear.
Yes, ma'am. Roxy's very controlling. She controls me at work and everything.
How does she control you at work?
She actually follows me to work. And one time she followed me to work and to actually see what I'm doing and where I'm at. And instead of going home, she actually used the restroom in the car to stop from going home and to be at work with me. She's also very controlling. She
Well, that was a good enough story right there. I'll get back to you. I'm gonna ask Ms. Hall, did you follow the man to work and was so busy spying on him you couldn't leave the car to go to the bathroom, so you used it in the car?
That's not what happened. That's very not true.
Yes, it is. It did happen.
Hang on. What do you say happened, Mrs. Hall?
What happened was I was being overly concerned about my husband in the transportation with the car that was running hot at that time.
Oh, man, you weren't
Hang on. So you were concerned about his car operating well. Go ahead.
Right, I was concerned about the car operating well. Just making sure...
Ma'am.
Stop. No. Go ahead.
Just making sure he got there safely, nothing happened, the car didn't blow up. At that time, we only had one phone. At that time, I wasn't working. I just had the time.
Hey, you mean to tell me that this huge brother over here, you did not believe he had the capacity to get to work safely on his own if you weren't working behind him in your car? Is this what you want me to believe?
My husband is extremely disrespectful to me.
No, you changing the subject. Did you?
Yes, ma'am.
No, wait a minute. I want to get to what I want to get to.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go to the bathroom in the car?
Unfortunately, I have a condition. Unfortunately.
Ma'am, she always uses, everything is a condition with her. Everything is always, it's an excuse for everything.
So how long were you observing him from your car?
I wasn't observing him from my car. He went into
Well,
work.
what were you doing? What were you doing in the car? Hey. What were you doing in the car when you had to use the bathroom on yourself?
Well, I was waiting for him to come out. I was telling him what I had to do.
Stop.
I was telling him what I had to do. I needed the key so I can go where I needed to go, and I didn't use it in the car. I went out the car and used what I needed to. I took care of myself. Yes, I took care of myself like a proper young woman does.
Go into the bushes like a proper young woman.
I mean, in that type of environment and condition, I mean, he didn't allow me to go to the restroom inside his job. They were working overnight. I couldn't use it there. So I did what I had to do.
He already made it to his job, so you knew he made it there safely. What were you sitting there for? Right.
But, at that time, we were
she didn't want to drive home. She could have stayed at home.
I don't drive at night.
We all know what happened.
I don't drive at night.
Give me another controlling story.
Is, I was being reinstated on parole, and I was going to get out, and I gave him my original address, and it was denied. I gave him the address to my mother's house. It was denied. And then I thought to give her address, in which it was accepted. She went behind my back to my parole officer and had him change my address to hers. And it was in another city.
Did you go to his parole officer behind his back and change his address?
No, I did not. That was a conversation we had through letter. I don't know if he was just talking, running a game to me, but that's what we discussed, and he knew that.
How can I run games?
Did you talk to his parole officer personally?
Yes,
without him
Ma'am.
there?
He was incarcerated.
When I was getting released, none of my former addresses in which I abused.
I got you. I understand what happened.
Another instance.
Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Another instance is I actually have to stay up with her after work. She controls me so much I have to stay up. I have to run errands for her, be attentive to her.
Stop.
And that had due to those situations, I took a bunch of 5-hour energies, a bunch of coffee, a bunch of everything to stay up. I couldn't even make it to work. I had to pull over, call my job, tell them I can't make it to work. I had to quit my job. It hurt me so bad that I even called my mother. It broke me down on the side of the highway, and I'm sick of it.
Mrs. Hall, do you make him attend to you at all times when he's home, so much so that he can't sleep so he can go to work?
I deserve respect. And if my husband just listens to me, we'll be off in a better position.
Well, what does he need? You say he needs to man up, and you say he doesn't listen to you. Give me some examples of in the manner in which he needs to man up or something he doesn't listen to.
For one time, we were talking about me writing a book called Get Your Spirit Up. I'm writing an autobiography right now.
Stop.
I'm writing an autobiography right now called Get Your Spirit Up, based on me overcoming anxiety and depression. I currently suffer with strabismus.
Every time.
The definition is right here on the screen here. And I talk to my husband about ideas and just what I have. And he always come back and criticize me. I'm dealing with a critic and not a supportive husband.
Oh, a critic will be the one who gives you ideas to help you out, but they're turned down, and then I'm the one that's criticizing her.
You talk about other people.
There's an instance.
Hang on. All I want to know, all I'm looking to get here is for you to tell me what he needs to man up about.
I asked her to get a job. So upon that led to argument all day. It goes outside. She gets mad, she screams, she rolls on the ground. One instance, she actually got mad at me and punched out the window in our house.
Mrs. Hall, did that happen?
My husband caused panic attacks in my life. I had to go to therapy. I asked my husband to come with me to therapy.
What therapy have you been to?
I asked my husband to come with me to therapy that you said
Where was I at when this happened?
And ignored me. I was once prescribed medication, but I come to find out that I do better with therapy. I do better with conversation, explaining myself.
But he came to therapy with you.
No,
I came, I listened to her. They prescribed her medication. Then she would not go get the medication.
He sat there carelessly, not listening. I asked him, do you understand it? Do you understand why I have mental breakdowns? Do you understand why this is happening? Just sit there careless. I don't know, shook his head. Just careless about what I go through.
Well, what would you like him to do that he's not doing?
Ask questions, be attentive to me. I deserve respect. I need respect from him.
Ma'am, I ask her questions when she doesn't want to go to work.
You say he can't hold down a job. Is that true? How many jobs has he had in the 2 years you've been married?
Not as many as her.
If you interrupt me again, I'm gonna sit you down right in that chair over there.
Down, yes. Judge Toler.
How many jobs has he had since you two been married?
Maybe 3 or 4.
3 or 4. So he seems to always get a job.
Not like me though. I'm a go-getter. I just quit another job Monday, had another job Tuesday. That's what I do. I'm a go-getter. I hustle a lot. And then I even hustle for my husband. I put him in positions. I put my husband in positions to go get the job. I fill out applications. I fill out the resumes. I do what I have to do.
Let me ask you a question, and I do so at my own peril, but you say you've actually had 12-hour-long arguments with Mrs. Hall. Without interruption, please tell me, give me an example of that.
Okay, an example of that is we had a disagreement about money issues. I asked her to get a job, and she uses her conditions as crutches is to not have the job. So upon that led to arguing all day. It goes outside. She gets mad, she screams, she rolls on the ground. One instance, she actually got mad at me and punched out the window in our house. She punched out the apartment window and had to go get stitches.
Mrs. Hall, did that happen?
The neighbors, at our first apartment together, the neighbors had to come over after hours of screaming. They come and knock on the door and ask me.
You mean the disrespectful
They told me that they were going to call the laws and have her removed from the apartment complex. So I told my neighbors, that's my wife. Please don't. I had to beg all of my neighbors not
to call the police.
Her. Exactly.
Judge told me you don't have a marriage license.
Did you put the... You what?
We don't have a marriage.
She burnt up the marriage license.
We are legally married, but we don't have a marriage license today.
She crumbled it up and burnt it up.
What happened to it? You burned it up? Is he right? Did you?
Well,
yeah, she crumbled it up and burnt it up.
I burnt it up. Well, what?
She crumbled it up, and then she burnt it up.
My husband likes to walk away from me as if I'm his girlfriend. We're not married. None of that.
I walk away from the 12-hour tantrums and fights.
So
did you roll around on the ground?
No, ma'am. I balled up my
you,
marriage license.
Did you put your fist through the window?
Unfortunately.
We were in the apartment. We were having an argument in the bedroom. And upon me going to leave out the door, she throws a knife, bam, into the wall. I left the knife in the wall for 2 days before I even pulled it out.
Did any of that stuff happen? If you would like your case to be heard on divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Miss the show? Watch full episodes on our streaming platforms, and for exclusive content, go to Apple TV. What's he doing to you?
Disrespectful to me every day, all day. He called me names.
What kind of names does he call you?
Every time we get into an argument, my new names are bitches and hoes. Then she mocks me. Then she mocks everything I say. An instance of this is if I say, okay, well, you're being disrespectful to me. No, you're being disrespectful to me. And it goes back and forth. And that's what turns into the 12-hour arguments. And I try to walk away from her to de-escalate the situation.
Tell me about the time with the hammer.
Okay, it was actually a knife. We were in the apartment. We were having an argument in the bedroom. And upon me going to leave out the door, she throws a knife, bam, into the wall. I left the knife in the wall for 2 days before I even pulled it out.
Sir!
She's turned over all the furniture in the house. I just didn't even care. I just said, okay,
sir,
well, for a week I just left it there until I decided to clean it up.
Sir.
Okay, hang on then.
No,
now, Mrs. Hall, did any of that stuff happen?
I didn't remember that till just now.
But you did do it.
We're dealing with my husband. I have a lot of mental breakdowns with my husband.
You keep saying mental breakdowns. Tell me specifically something he's done to you that is so disrespectful.
Yes, ma'am. He caused the anxiety attack after he threw my clothes outside. I was going through a situation where I need medical care. I was doing with a program that required me to have low income to no income, and that since I'm married, my husband had to also follow that.
Anyway, you were striving towards no income.
So I got the program.
Which Go ahead.
I got on the program, which I needed, thank God. I went to the doctors.
You wanted him not to work.
Yes.
So you could present to the government that you didn't have any income, so you could get on this program. Is that what I got?
Yes. I'm in extreme amount of pain. I needed the assistance immediately. This is a critical condition in my life. So I had to accept any kind of help that I could, which I was on top of.
I got you. Mr. Hall, what do you have to say about that?
These arguments with her have also led to my clothes being ripped off, me spending nights outside, me being hit. She argues alone. I don't even have to be there.
She argues alone?
I have came back to our home, and everyone, I've even heard her, and the neighbors hear her. And they come to me and they're like, oh, we thought she was arguing with you. You're not even up there. I haven't been here in hours. She's still arguing and screaming about me, and I'm not even there.
Are you arguing and screaming at home?
I'm talking to my loved ones, explaining the hurt and trauma that I'm experiencing. I'm not talking to myself. Lies.
Mr. Hall, you want $1,760 for lost wages. Explain that to me, please.
Yes, ma'am. I just got this job doing highway construction, in which the job was intended so we could move on and advance in life. Well, she goes in my phone. She sees a text from my supervisor. So at that point in time, we discussed how we both going to get to work because we had one vehicle. Okay, she says, okay, Uber. We talk about it. I agree with it. Then she says, okay, well, I can't do that anymore. She quits her job, follows me over 180 miles because it was too far for me to be going alone.
That's
grown man, it was too far for me to go to work. So then when I get there, I have to check in so she can have somewhere to be. Well, after I get off of work, here it is, I have to argue with her because now she has nowhere to be. So now I have to drive her back 200 miles home, and I lose my job.
Ms. Hall, did that happen?
Not the way you says it does.
Oh.
Will you tell me how it happened?
During that time, I was on bereavement leave. I lost my mother. At that time, my husband just got a job during my bereavement. How can you take on a construction job that requires you to travel? We only have one vehicle while I'm on my bereavement leave. I was expecting my husband to support me. If he was going to get that job, support me with telling me, hey, baby, you don't have to work. I understand what you're going through. You lost your mother.
Isn't that what getting a job is? Support?
Yeah. I've supported her everywhere with jobs.
I am working as well. You just want me to stop working while you go off and do whatever?
I have a relative at work.
I was going to say, hey, stop. Usually at this point say, I understand what's going on here. I don't. But I'm going to tell you what I think, and then I'm going to run. You want to know something? I don't care what condition you have. The cortisol and the adrenaline that pulls up in your body when you are angry makes it worse. I'm just telling you, stress will kill you.
I understand.
Yeah. And your stress is killing him, and it's about to kill me. What you need to do is calm down. If you can't take 8 jobs, harassment, and what is it, abuse or whatever? Come on, you don't like taking orders.
That's
you
not
don't,
true.
You don't know how to relax. You don't know how to not get your way sometimes.
You don't know what in the way.
Hey! I'm telling you what it is.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hall.
Yes, ma'am.
God bless you. I can't give you that money because it was decisions that you made.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what I mean? You made a decision to take this job and this place, and you knew she was kind of out there, and she was going through a thing. I can't say she is monetarily and fiscally responsible for that decision that you made. I understand why you made it, and it was her fault, but it's not something I can reward you for. Yes. Let me say this. This man has a record, and this man's trying to work. Yeah. This man's trying to do the right thing. Either you can be some peace in his ear, or you can be a place in his past. And I think that he deserves better than what you've given him. You can't harp a man into loving you. You can't anger him into making you feel good when you don't feel good about yourself. God bless you in your distance and your journey without this woman. I don't think she's going to let you leave quietly either. Oh. I think you're going to have to run. But, Ms. Hall, you're probably not a bad person at all, but you get stuck on the wrong stuck, you stay stuck, and then you can't get unstuck, and the next thing you know, the only thing you lost is him. There will be no recovering this matter. It is so ordered.
Thank you.
How do we move forward after leaving here?
I am a person and not a problem. I'm going to continue to work on my marriage. I'm not leaving my husband.
I've tried. I've gave him my all. I've heard this line a million times before. I'm just not up for it anymore, man. I'm adamant about getting a divorce, so that's what I'm going to pursue.